Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Saima Rashid and today I am giving the lecture on the topic of visual acuity. Resolving power of the eye or the ability to see two separate objects as separate. Visual angle. The angle subtended at the nodal point of the eye by the physical dimensions of an object in the visual field, or in other words it may be described as the angle which makes the eye capable to determine the precise shape and details of the object. Theories of visual acuity. Receptor theory. If the images fall on two cones separated by an illuminated cone, then the 2 points of light would be perceived as two distinct sources. It means that the two distinct points only can be recognized as separate when they subtend at an angle of 1 minute arc. 1 minute arc. Cones of the retina are responsible for acuity of vision. If two distinct points are to be seen separately as separate points, they should be at an angle of 1 minute arc at the nodal point of the eye. The nodal point of the eye is at the anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3 of the lens of the eye. Image on retina. The image on the retina will be separated by 4.5 micron distance. The distance between the points correspond with the distance over the retina, as the image will be formed at 4.5 micron distance. The thickness or width of a single rod and single cone is 1 micron. The two images are separated by 4.5 micron distance. They are definitely going to leave one cone or one rod unstimulated. Cones are present in the center of fovea centralis. Cones are cylinder and densely packed. 4 to 5 million cones are synapsing with one optic nerve. There will be multiple action potential generation. This is the reason they give the fine details of the object. Rods are present in the periphery of the lens and they are responsible for the dim vision. Rods are relatively thick. 100 million rods are synapsing with one optic nerve, leading to fewer action potential as compared with cones. Precautions. Visual acuity should be performed in a dark room and only Snellen's chart should be illuminated. One eye should be closed properly and distance should be accurate. Basics of Snellen's chart. Snellen fraction is the most common notation of acuity. The distinct acuity is usually tested by the Snellen's chart. It consists of a series of black capital letters on a white board arranged in line, each progressively diminishing in size with uniform illumination. Each letter fits in a square and assume 5 into 5 grid for letters, with detailed separation of 1 by 5 of letter size. Far point of vision. The distance at which Snellen's chart should be kept is 20 feet or 6 meters from the eye, so the illumination distance is same. The rays of light from that distance are parallel for the practical purposes. The most distinct point that can be clearly focused on retina without accommodation is the far point of vision. The far point of an emmetropic eye is infinity and normally it is 6 meters. Series of letters. In this chart, series of letters of varying sizes are constructed so that the top letter is visible to the normal eye at 60 meters and on subsequent lines at 36, 24, 18, 12, 9, 6 and 5 meters respectively. Series of letter. In a case of an illiterate person of an E-letter chart is presented at the same distance. The subject is asked to tell the direction of limbs. Letter style variations. Serif ornamental cross stroke at the end of limb. Sans serif bold typefaces and appear less cluttered. It is easier to be read than serif letters. Visual acuity. The degree to which details of contours or object are perceived. They are defined as the minimum distance by which two lines can be separated and perceived as two lines. It is determined by the Snellen's chart, which design is based on the subtended visual angle. Each stroke of our eye subtend at an angle of 1 minute arc, which is the minimum photoreceptor to resolve. 1 minute arc. Now you can see in this diagram that each stroke is subtending at 1 minute arc, but collectively all the 6 stroke of the alphabet at letter E is subtending at an angle of 5 minute arc. Now this is the same. Collectively it is showing 5 minute arc and individual each stroke is showing a distance of 1 minute arc. Visual acuity: if the person is still not able to see the biggest letter at 1 meter, then he is asked to count fingers which are kept at an arm's breadth. This is called the finger counting. If a person is not able to count the fingers, the next step is hand movement. The hand is moved in front of the person and he is asked whether he perceives hand movement or not. The last step is perception of light. Light is thrown in each eye and the person is asked whether he perceives light or not. Formula for the visual acuity is: visual acuity VA is equal to testing distance over distance at which the letter substance at 5 minutes of art, and this visual acuity is indicated by small d over capital D. Thank you. That was all about the visual acuity.